Hello there. My name is Douglas, or most of you know me as ThatKidDouglas, aka the End Hero, and well, I'm not alone today. Got a special guest.
Hi,
Might as well introduce yourself.
my name is Eric Richard Pugh, also known as King Raiko, Fusion Storm, or Scintillagene.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's my Fusion Echo partner, and well, today we wanted to do a video on why I love Disney animation, and this is our second collaboration video because this has been in the works for like at least a good 3 or so years. We've been talking about doing another one, and we could just never find the time to do it. Or when we have hung out, we mostly just spent time with each other rather than making videos because we've got lives outside of YouTube and stuff. So, but
Doing things like typing on the computer or playing forbidden video games.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But after many years of deliberation and thinking, we're finally getting around to doing this collaboration, which is awesome. And it makes all the more sense because Big Hero 6 just came out on DVD and Blu-ray yesterday. Yeah, it did yesterday. I probably have to, I'm definitely going to try and grab that as soon as I can. And because Big Hero 6 also won the Best Animated Feature Film at the Oscars, which was very surprising. But we're not really, because I thought for sure it was going to go to How to Train Your Dragon 2, but we're not here to talk about that. So we're going to talk about why we love Disney animation. So I don't know. I guess I'll get started then. I was born in 1994 in Star, Ontario, October 8th. And ever since I was a little boy, I was really always into animation and cartoons. Like I would just get in front of the TV, like and just glue my eyes to it and just watch Saturday morning cartoons, and it was amazing. And most of those cartoons were in fact from Disney. Recess, The Weekenders, a bunch of others that I can't really name right now, but I've always really been a big fan of it, and I've watched pretty much most of the Disney animated classics, if not all of them. Stuff like The Jungle Book, Cinderella, Pinocchio, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You name it, I've pretty much seen it. It always had this warmth and charm to it that really kind of defined my life. It really gave me a lot of happiness, and it was just amazing. And seeing the kind of stories that you could tell with like pencil and paper, and it's far better than I could even do. My stick were terrible, but I always had a smile on my face every time I'd watch a Disney animated movie. It was pretty much it was one of the things that defined my childhood, and especially the movies in the 90s with the Disney Renaissance was when I really fell in love with Disney animation, like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, which is still to this day my favorite movie of all time, Tarzan, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Mulan, Pocahontas. All those movies were just classics, and you know, they honestly defined animation for me and really brought me into another world and allowed me to escape from the world that I'm in right now, because let's face it, real life can get pretty boring, so to speak. Yeah. I guess you should go next then.
Why, thank you. Ever since I was very young, I have always really loved cartoons of any shape.
Okay.
Whether it be stop motion, traditional 2D, or CGI. Animation is my crack. Oh, and back in the day, whatever animated movie came out, I was eager to see it. Because of a lot of Disney ones on the VHS, that's from the 60s Disney films to like the ones from the beginning, like Dumbo, Snow White, and Fantasia. Ones from the 80s, and those that came out in the 90s. We still, and now we're in the 2010s. I'm all grown up, and we're still all picking up Disney films whenever come along to Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's a really good sentiment. I also have an ask. You know, I feel like for a while in the 2000s, I really fell out of love with Disney animation, and I'll tell you why. Because it'd be a shame not to include this company I'm about to talk about. A little-known animation studio based out of Emeryville, California. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard of them. You know, they did Toy Story, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo. Of course, I'm talking about Pixar Animation Studios. And you know, from their first film, Toy Story, it made me really fall in love with Pixar. It was amazing with that whole computer animation. It's funny because we're using computers to record this video. When I first saw Toy Story, my jaw was like literally dropping. I thought it looked like almost photorealistic. I was like, oh my god, it looks amazing. And it actually still, you know, holds up pretty well to this day. It still does. And then from onwards, you know, I was totally obsessed with Pixar. You cannot believe in every movie that they did. I was totally I was obsessed with pretty much, and I almost looked forward to everything that Pixar did. And in the 2000s, well, Pixar was really like rising to being at the top of the animation genre. Disney was really faltering with a series of pretty crappy animated movies to say the least. Movies like Atlantis: The Lost Empire, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, Wild. Okay, I know The Wild isn't a Walt Disney Animation Studios film, but it still sucked. But we're not here to talk about that. And I honestly thought for a while that Disney Animation was never going to return to any sort of positive form again, and they were just going to be this mediocre animation studio that just made mediocre and forgettable films for the rest of their days. You know?
I'm
No, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was around the time when Disney actually started to kind of stop using traditional 2D animation, and I honestly really miss that.
Yeah, the reason was because you know the CGI really became the dominant player in animation, and after Pixar's success, everybody jumped on the bandwagon. You know, Blue Sky, Illumination, Warner Brothers Animation, Paramount Animation, Sony Pictures Animation. You get the point. You know, it really became super viable. So you know, the studios looked at 2D animation less favorably because they thought it didn't make as much money as CGI films. And it's actually the reason why Disney stopped doing 2D for a while, like at least for a good 5 years, and they just entirely switched over to computer animation, and that was a really rough transition to say the least. Yeah, and ironically, Disney distributed Pixar's movies, you know, so it's kind of ironic. Um, and actually, believe it or not, Disney and Pixar almost broke up because of money, and you know, it was kind of like a I didn't even know about it till like a few years ago. So it was kind of, for me, it was definitely interesting in reading up on that. But I'm not going to get into that because it's not really relevant to the video. But in 2006, when Disney bought Pixar for a whopping $7.4 billion, and then put Ed Catmull and John Lasseter in charge of Disney Animation, I feel like that's when things really start to turn around. It was really at that time where I just become cynical to Disney Animation. Like, Disney sucks. They're just mediocre. Pixar's where it's at, and I even like DreamWorks mostly for like Shrek 1 and 2, which are still, in my opinion, two of the greatest animated movies ever made. You know, Pixar and to a lesser extent DreamWorks is where it's at. Disney sucks, this and that, and then through the next few years, my tone really started to change, and I started to fall back in love with Disney animation. And can can you kind of pinpoint the moment where you started to fall back in love with Disney animation?
Hmm. I was actually like getting back into Disney animation when the film Princess and the Frog was released. That I mean that was the last Disney movie I saw that that used traditional 2D animation. I loved it.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom saw that movie and she offered she wanted me to go see it. I'm like, no. I was like, no, that's baby stuff. I'm too old for that, you know, which is a mistake now because I heard it's a really good film. So I'm kicking myself for doing that, you know. But I mean, I don't think I could really blame myself at the time because again, I felt like I'd just been burned by Disney animation time and time again so many mediocre films that I just didn't really care at that point, and that I was just so into Pixar. Yeah, I guess where I really started to fall back in love with Disney animation was in 2012 with a little movie called Wreck-It Ralph. That movie is fantastic. You know, like because I remember me and my cousin Joao went to go see it, and that was like that was like the first Disney animated movie that I'd seen in quite a while, actually. You know, so it was like kind of jarring for me to go back in it because I felt, oh, I'm too old for this, like, you know. But the whole video game story really appealed to me, and I watched it, and it was fantastic. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, like, and it really made me fall back in love with Disney animation, and it really solidified them being back at the top of the animation game. And I'm like, I was an idiot forever down in Disney animation, and yeah, I mean, you know, and then Frozen, which I actually have. One second.
Yeah. It just goes to show that when you are a company who has done on things a lot of things competently in the past, and you drop the ball, you can easily pick it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it here in Frozen. I actually just picked this up recently, and it's actually a really good film. Would I say it's like The Lion King? Not quite. I mean, but The Lion King's so good. I don't think anything can ever top that. But Frozen is still a really good movie. You know, based on those circumstances, and I would highly advise anybody to check it out. It's a really great film. Although I understand why people love it, but I can also understand why people may not like it because it's definitely not for everybody. It's a musical, and that's kind of iffy. It's something. And Big Hero 6, which I actually saw day one with this guy, and that was fantastic. And we like in our early 20s, and we're just lighting up like we're a bunch of little kids, like watching cartoons. It was essentially like The Incredibles and The Avengers rolled into one, and again, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed Big Hero 6. I even said on my Facebook it was like 1,000 times better than Frozen, although I probably maybe overstated that a little bit. But it's still a great film in its own right, and you know Disney's on a roll, which makes it even kind of sad that they're not releasing a movie this year. But we get two from Pixar to make up for it, so I guess that's some kind of consolation. But they've got like two in 2016, so Zootopia, and Moana, which sounds really interesting to me.
Sure.
But really, to kind of close this, I feel like the main reason why I love Disney animation as well as Pixar, because you know they're together now, is because it really helped me. You know, it defined my childhood. It really made me a happy, innocent little kid, and it also really helped me through some of the darkest times that I've had, especially through high school, because that was quite interesting to say the least. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But it really helped me go through some dark times. They've made me laugh. They've made me cry. They've made me feel all types of things. But I feel like it really appeals to the kid in me and makes me feel like no matter how old I get, then I'm still a kid, and that it's okay to be a kid, and it's okay to share those memories. And I'm not gonna lie, I did get emotional at Toy Story 3. I did cry when that bastard Scar killed Mufasa in The Lion King. I'm still angry over that. But you know, it's just like it appeals to the kid in all of us. I feel like that's why Disney and Pixar have been so successful, and why Disney animation is back on top, even though Pixar is in a bit of a creative slump right now. But yeah, what can I say? Disney's animation division is on top of the world again, as it should be, because they really pioneered the genre. Your final thoughts?
They absolutely deserve to be on top. But the reason I still love Disney animation to this very day, it's because it's well, first off, you know, hours upon hours of laughs and touching me right there.
Yeah.
And also because it never left my life. You know, I want to see a movie that appeals to my inner child and bring a smile to face. I could, for the most part, count on Disney animation to deliver. Not to mention, Disney animation has influenced my own way of drawing cartoon characters.
Yeah.
So they're in the main between you and me. They're the main reason, and that when I draw, I always draw cartoons. I don't because cartoons are the most expressive kind of art that you can possibly utilize, and and the mo and always the most energetic kind of art that has probably ever been conceived.
Oh, okay, that's pretty well said.
And they with animation and you can make the impossible possible. You can do just about anything that live action could never accomplish.
Oh, well, yeah, well said. Well, since this is going way over normal time, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am, of course, ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, and you are.
I am King Raiko, aka Fusion Storm, aka Scintilla Gene, Eric Richard Pugh.
And for the Gathering of Awesomeness, Fusion Echo, we are signing out.
Catch you later.
Oh.
And Big Hero 6 is better than Frozen.
Cue the random explosion effect.
What's up?